Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to this week's property news. Every week we're going to say this, aren't we? It's another really busy week, but genuinely this week a lot has happened. We've had quite a shocking inflation data, which I think is a bit suspicious. We'll talk about that. We've got a big movement in the Renters' Rights Bill. Not only has it pretty much completed now, it's just waiting for royal assent. Well, we've got some big updates on two of the main parts on when they're going to go active. It's a bit of a shocker in that one. And there's a lot going on with mortgage rates, councils wanting your properties, and much, much more. So if you're new around here and you haven't done before, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We've just hit 50,000 subscribers. And by subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, all the latest interest rate news, property tips, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. How do we do that? Well, we all help each other, and your part's simple. All you need to do is smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really has helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that takes a minute to do that. So, what is going on? First, I want to talk about councils. And it's interesting because councils know that we need landlords. The central government, not so much. And so councils are well aware of the lack of rental properties in their areas. I mean, even a small town where I'm based, in Dorking in Surrey, where there's not loads of social housing problems, the waiting list is still 2 years. In some areas of London, I think it's Dagenham. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you guys know. You've got Google to hand. I haven't while I'm doing this. There's one area in London that the waiting list is 37 years, which is crazy. And so Enfield Council in London have said, look, we want your property. We need landlords. And they're willing to give you a long-term contract. Normally, you get a short-term contract with the council. They want to give you a long-term contract to lock you in and give you a decent rent and make sure that you're making money and they're making money and repairs get sorted, and taking some of the stress out for landlords while making sure that the council's got property available for temporary accommodation and stuff like that. So what the council is saying here is that, look, our temporary accommodation bill is insane, as it is everywhere else. It's cheaper for us to get people into long-term properties. We don't have enough of those, so let's do something about it. Liverpool Council did something similar to this. We talked about that a few months ago, and in Liverpool, they're giving landlords grants. So they'll not only give you a long-term contract, 5 years it is in Liverpool, but they'll also pay you to fix your property up, which could be very attractive for a lot of landlords, considering if you need some EPC work or something like that done. So this is now spread down south. I think other councils are going to do stuff like this because they're desperate to get properties. And this is only going to get worse once we talk about the other issues in the news. Next, I want to talk about 87 days. What does that mean? That's how long after you get a mortgage offer it takes to complete a remortgage. That's a ridiculous amount of time. Now, that's if you're changing lender. If you do internal, it's a lot quicker. In fact, with Mortgage Works, I've done it in 5 minutes before. So 87 days. So what they're saying is you get your property and you then go to your broker, you go to the comparison site, or go direct to the lender, whichever way you do it. And then you do your application, which takes a few days. There's always a back and forth. Oh, we need this, we need that. There's a little bit of back and forth on that. Then they instruct a surveyor. The surveyor takes a few weeks to come out. Then they take a few days to send their valuation back to the lender. Then the lender takes a week or so to get you an offer. So it takes about a month to get an offer. And then after you've got that, it takes 87 additional days to complete. This is going up. I don't know why it's going up when the market's quieter, but it is going up, and that's taking a long time for people to get that. Now, why that's important to you is a lot of people watching this channel know that they need a remortgage at some point, and it's good to know that, look, it's taking over 3 months to do these at the moment, closer to 4 months. So if you've got one next year, March time, you should be looking at starting it now, because otherwise you could, if you don't, go on to the variable rate with your lender and have huge payments while you're waiting for this to go through. So interesting stuff there. Next is asking prices. I feel vindicated on asking prices because I did the content on asking prices for about 2 years. Every single month, people were attacking me in the comments saying asking prices are irrelevant, because they were going up a lot at that time. And they were saying they're irrelevant. They don't show anything. I disagree. I think they show market sentiment. So what I mean by that is that if you've got a property and every property is for sale for 100 grand, and then a new seller comes on and says, I need to sell mine, so I'm going to price aggressively at 95,000 because then I'll be the cheapest one. I'll get the viewings. I'll give someone a better deal. That shows that they need to sell or want to sell quickly. And what we're seeing is that that isn't happening at the moment. You're not getting new sellers coming into the market desperate to get the sale at the moment. They're not undercutting all the properties that currently sit there. In fact, they're going above the asking prices that were last month. So the asking prices this month are up by £1,000 on average. That's 0.3%, which sounds good, but it's actually bad, because normally you get an autumn increase. There's a lot of people that list properties for sale now. A lot of transactions, if they're quick, they can get done by Christmas at this time of year. A lot of people want to move and get a new property this side of Christmas. Then it goes quieter again. And normally in October, asking prices go up 1.1%. So that gives you an idea. So we have gone up 0.3, but not as much as the 1.1% that we would normally have. So the market is still slowing. While it is still rising, it is still slowing at the same time, if that makes sense. So that's interesting to see. So the market's slowing down. Homelessness, let's talk about that. So homelessness is now the number one cause. The number one cause of homelessness, is now due to landlords leaving the market, selling their properties. Before, it was often quite high up with domestic abuse and various other things like that, which are awful. Now it's because the government's pushing all this taxation, pushing all this regulation onto landlords that they just don't want to do it. It's just not profitable if you've got your property set up in the wrong kind of way. So homelessness is increasing, and it's now the number one reason is landlords quitting the market. Now, this is going to get worse, isn't it? Because there's a renters' rights bill that's pretty much done and dusted now, and when I talk to you about that in a second, you'll see it's actually worse than we were thinking, the speed of some of it going through. And so I predict that this month and next month, you're going to see a lot of people get served something called a Section 21, a no-fault eviction, get evicted from their properties because of government policy. That's not good for tenants, and I think it's really, really bad news. And so homelessness, unfortunately, I think is going to keep rising. And yeah, I don't think that the government realise that their policies are actually contributing to this. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. There's a video on all of these topics so far. If you want to watch them, click where it says Property Accelerator below, then click Videos, and you look in the last week, you'll see a detailed video on all of these topics. Next, inflation. Well, this is a video that I talked about, and I feel that they've just fudged the numbers on this, because this is what happened last year. So if you don't know, the inflation data that we get from September, that data, whatever figure it is where they decide how much to increase benefits and pensions. So it's really bad for them if inflation goes up that month, because that means everyone gets more pension payment, everyone gets more benefit payment. So it costs the government a lot of money. Now, last year, the expectation was in September, the September data that we get in October would be that inflation will have risen. But magically, it went down last year. Suspicious, right? Well, this year, it makes me more suspicious, because this month, September's data, we were expecting it to go above 4%. That's what all the analysts and forecast economists said. And we stayed at 3.8%. That benefits the government, doesn't it? Because if it went to 4%, pensions would have gone up by 4%. Now they're going up by 3.8%. I think that's suspicious. I think it's dodgy. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But either way, inflation is where it was last month, where it was the month before. 3 months in a row now, it's been 3.8%. The only positive thing from this is it does give the Bank of England a bit more flexibility in order to cut interest rates. The markets are saying, look, we won't get a cut in November, but we might in December. So that could be a good thing from that. Next, renters' rights. This has gone through very quickly. Loads of hearings on this and debates in Parliament. And it's now got to a stage where it's all done. It's all done. It's just now sitting there waiting for royal assent. That will happen this year. That makes it law. And so it'll go to the king. It's a formality. He's not going to change anything, is he? So that will get ticked off. That will become law. Now, what's interesting here is they think the law will become active in April. That's the expectation. And the government have said they are going to implement two things very quickly. And I think I'm surprised by one of these. First is rolling tenancies. I think that's easy. So the rolling tenancies are easy. It's not hard for an estate agent to deal with, not hard for a letting agent or a private landlord that just deals with it themselves. Your current tenancies will just continue until they expire. Then the new renewals or any new tenancies will start on rolling tenancies, most likely from April, which is when the law will probably be, so it'll be a law this year, but they'll probably activate it in April. It just makes it easier for tax and all that kind of stuff. But the next one, I just can't see how they're going to do this, but they say they are. They say Section 21 will be abolished immediately. Immediately, they'll say, basically, no more no-fault evictions from April. Could even be sooner. But from April is what they're saying here. This one could be sooner because if they're saying immediate, this doesn't need to tie into a tax year. It's kind of irrelevant. The tenancies, it's a little bit more likely that that would go to April. But look, they're saying this would go immediately. Why this is surprising is the government's own study on where the courts are. Are they ready? Are they prepared? Said they're not. They can't cope with it. It's just going to be carnage. And that means that people are going to wait a huge amount of time for court cases. It's currently 8 months. Lots of people expect it to go over a year. Imagine you're a landlord, you're not getting any rent for a year. And you probably got it longer because you didn't basically put a court thing through the second they didn't pay the first month's rent. You waited a couple of months probably. So it's mental to think that this is the length of time that you might have to wait in order to get a court date. Also, here's what I'm thinking could happen, and I think it's likely, and I believe I'll be making content, sadly, about this prior to Christmas. I think a lot of landlords are going to read this in the news, going to watch channels like mine. They're going to find out about this Section 21 stuff. And they're going to think, this is my last chance to serve a Section 21. So they're going to serve them. And I think you're going to get an influx of Section 21s before Christmas. These are 2 months that they take. So if you think about that, what date is it today? 24th, Christmas Eve. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? So there'll be lots of people potentially looking for properties prior to Christmas. It could be an absolute nightmare. And so we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you think about that one. Some of you think that won't, the government's saying it's going to be immediately. But some of you think that that's just not likely or possible. Some of you think it is. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. So yeah, a lot happening this week. I think the Renters' Rights Bill is the real shock. All of these have individual videos you should go and check out. And if you haven't already, do grab Mortgage Secrets, how to get the best mortgage deal in 2025 and beyond. This will teach you where to find a good broker, when you should start your remortgage process, and also off-market lenders. You know, for cars, you've got Direct Line and all that kind of stuff. But do you know who all the off-market lenders are for mortgages? Probably not. Well, they're in here. Grab it in the first comment, grab it in the description. Do smash like, do subscribe, and also check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.